Another big one for you here in Marseille. Mousesports are into the ring. Up against them, the Ninjas in Pajamas. We're going to be seeing how this roster continues to fare after making a roster change for what felt like the first time in forever. The departure of friberg first now exists as the legends start to depart the roster. Can they keep posting results? That is a question we may have an answer to today as they face what our analysts do consider to be one of the favorites for the tournament. I have to introduce them first, though. We have Sean Gers and Janko Kaunovic joining myself, Machine. And I don't think there's many real kind of true understandings of both the form of NIP and whether or not Mousesports can do what they've been doing recently, online, offline, Janko. The evidence for Mousesports to succeed, though, if you could start laying it out for me, why are we saying that they are a favorite?
I think you just look at their performance from the start of the year, right? It started with placing top 8 at the major, really, then winning Star Series. They failed to qualify for Katowice, so that's true. You know, a shame we couldn't see them compete there as well. And then they won the V4 tournament. Granted, they didn't meet FaZe because FaZe lost to VP. They ended up beating Hellraisers and VP for the title, but it's all been small steps, right? Winning a smaller tournament and they've been beating some great teams, then winning a tournament on a stage against VP and having to come back from, I think it was 14-10 to close out that third map, right? So they've shown things that they've been lacking before. It's been composure in some situations when the game is tight, when the pressure is on. It's playing from the role of the favorite as well. So next one is at a tournament like this, where most of the top teams are in attendance, and when you have that big stage and a crowd is coming here and delivering to.
That is where I would be scared for Mousesports. Not right here. We are in the player area. All is quiet. It is the group stage. But, you know, the likes of Mykonos, where they thrived, they were chillaxing Max and all cool. We saw it over at ECS finals in Cancun. They were still laid back and relaxed. And the stages they've played on still cannot compare with what they would be waiting for them should they get to that Corsair DreamHack Masters stage. It is gorgeous. We walk through it every time.
You can hear it's being built right now.
Yeah, it is. It's under construction and it is looking gorgeous. And if you actually, just while we're talking about it, if you're interested, you can still get tickets. It's nice and easy to do so. In fact, if I wiggle my fingers just magically enough, the graphics guy panics and then brings up the URL to buy it eventually at some point during our conversation. But you do just have to go ahead and go to dreamhack.com/masters and you'll be able to find all the information there. So, Shawnee boy, we have to have this conversation.
Yes.
Not only are Mousesports exciting, but the Ninjas in Pajamas keep cutting the fat. We've lost, you know, friberg. We've now lost Exist. Now you see Dennis stepping in, and not only is he fragging, he's been given leadership responsibilities. What's your whole take on them?
Yeah, I think they look in much better form than they have been in a while.
Okay.
Right? Dennis brings a lot of firepower into the team, so clearly they're going to be more powerful now coming into this tournament.
Yeah.
They've been playing much better online as well, which is kind of interesting for them. They're typically kind of slouches online.
And just turn up when the mouse and keyboard is at last.
Something that has to be mentioned in this situation, Alex, this is usually Chad's role, but he's not with us at the moment. It's the rules. The rules are very important for a tournament. Something where DreamHack Masters is a bit different than the other tournaments is the coaches have the ability to talk during freeze time as well. So freeze time plus the timeout plus the halftime is where you can talk. Usually you can't talk during the freeze time if you're a coach, which for teams like Mousesports, who has Chris J, who is an in-game leader, but really LMBT also helps a lot in determining the game plan, can really help him out if the game is close and they've been, you know, running out of strats or running out of ideas. Even more so for NIP. Dennis, yes, he's in-game leading the team, but he's not a natural in-game leader either. You know, he does a lot of fragging, he focuses a lot on that, and it's going to help them a lot having Pida standing behind them. Also, maybe seeing the big picture and giving some insight while the game is going on.
I hadn't even considered that. That could be a real reason where some of those hard hits are coming from. Sean,
that's a really good point.
You're nodding, you're like, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Keep our eyes on that. Bring up the group, though, Group B. Let's have a little look about how they got here, how they got into this scenario where they play a best of 3 for playoffs. Both of them besting their adversaries in the first round. One a tougher task than the other. Mousesports did step into the ring versus Valiant, and admittedly they did put in a valiant effort, but despite having a 13-2 start on their many consider their best map, it got close and still find themselves in the upper bracket.
This is a big one, Alex, because the loser, as you can tell, has to play a best of 3 against SK Gaming. So this is probably your best shot at making the playoffs.
Absolutely, that's terrifying. I didn't even realize that. They're just waiting there. The jaws are open, and one of them's going to
They both might be underdogs if they lose this match.
From the upper bracket.
Crazy.
Yes, that is the reality of the situation. And actually, we've got something really special for you here. Now, what they've done here at DreamHack is they've picked 4 players. 4 amazing players, 4 legends of the game. And in a series of 4 episodes, they're calling it the Masters of the Game, we get to go ahead and take a closer look at these players that perhaps aren't always in the spotlight. Now, for the first one, we've picked a player that has played the game professionally since 1.6. And there's probably a whole lot you don't know about it. Let's take a look.
chrisJ is alone in a 1v3. This is a massive round from LDLC. But oh my God, chrisJ! The no-scope out of nowhere!
He's gonna get the defuse off as well!
And there we go! What a round from chrisJ out of absolutely nowhere!
You know, the thing is, in a situation like that, it felt in a way really confusing because smoke was there, I didn't know where the bomb was, I didn't really know where the opponents was. And I don't even know what I'm really doing, but I'm just playing. And I know from playing that if you don't try to shoot, you're gonna lose anyway, right? So I just try to shoot and somehow hit them, and then you can suddenly win a round.
Actually close this out. Will it be the prophesized OT?
Oh, Chris.
Fantastic way to start, and Chris, instead of falling back, is going to go aggressive, and he actually hits the shot on Schneider. No scopes on him as well. Chris is on full carry mode here. It's now 3 kills for him. A quad kill turns around. He's going to get the ace. What a ridiculous round. chrisJ absolutely saving Mousesports.
His playstyle basically changed after I left, since he got a new role because Oscar came back, and then now he's an in-game leader. That changed him as a player a lot. Now he's helping the team more, basically.
After Chris took in-game leading, his game style changed. He started to play more seriously. Chris has become a better teammate since he started to leading the team.
When choosing our new in-game leader, when deciding that it was gonna be me, it was like my coach said, like, yeah, you're the only guy who can do it here in this group of guys. I always felt that myself too, that when I say things, that I can convince someone that something is a good idea, and then it doesn't even matter so much if it's actually good, but if the person thinks it's good, then he's gonna execute it better, right?
So I think that every player just started to work and listen more to the captain, which is Chris, the master.
I feel it would be arrogant to say that I'm already like a master, because I certainly think there's a lot more to master in CSGO, so yeah, I'm doing my best to become one.
He's still alive, a double kill on AZK, a triple kill on the Skadoodle. chrisJ putting a play in for play of the week, and a no-scope by chrisJ will take down a trend.
chrisJ, our first master of the game, and indeed, it's so interesting to see the general consensus that he's become a better player, a more serious player, as soon as that leadership tag was thrown on him.
Yeah, absolutely, and I like what he said in terms of, you know, sometimes it's not just about what I call, it's that people believe me, and I think that's super important for an in-game leader to have authority.
Yeah.
It's actually your team, Sean, when you all the way back in Cloud9, when you removed Semphis and got Freakazoid and you had that like great summer run, it felt like whatever you called, everyone was buying into it. And that's why sometimes it wasn't like the call didn't pan out, it was a bad read, but everyone believed in it, they could still execute so well that you would end up winning the round. It's like super important. You can see some teams like Navi with C's were having exactly that issue.
Sure, yeah, and actually, back when NIP made that run, that massive run when the CSGO first came out, I actually talked to like Fiffler and Exist about this because of the time frame that Yanko's talking about. And they said that sometimes they would just literally like tell Frapper to just run out mid with no flashes and scrims, just to make him do it. Just so that way, you know, everyone would listen no matter what. And that's really cool that Chris seems to think he has that kind of control in the team. I mean, I guess he has that luxury because of the majority of his players are newer. Rops is a prime example. Sunny as well probably hasn't been in a team structure this seasoned and this much full of veterans. Oscar admittedly has played before, but this is his first biggest venture into CSGO. They all will hold on to his every word, and I guess that's the first step to a successful leadership.
And there's no real alpha male in that team to really stand up against him. So he just has, you know, takes the whip out and says, "Go, my minions."
Go, my minions, go. And now, my desk minions, I need you to go because the vetoes are about to go down. I know you were scrolling through the maps, Sean, you were taking a quick look. Is there anything at a glance you're thinking?
Yeah, I don't know. Mousesports always likes to play Nuke, so they might lean. Yeah, there they go. They picked Nuke.
Straight away.
So NIP is actually decent on Nuke. I mean, like, they've always liked playing Nuke, so that's an interesting matchup. And NIP picks Overpass, which is kind of, I guess, leaning into a little bit of a weakness for Mousesports.
Yeah, definitely. Mousesports avoids cash and Overpass. Really, they have to have started putting in work at least one of the maps. So I guess it's going to be Overpass because they banned cash. NIP, they played actually all maps, even with this lineup. So it's either Nuke or Mirage that you have to veto against Mousesports, and it makes perfect sense that they veto Mirage because Nuke has been really an NIP map for a very long time. I'm not that convinced with this lineup as of just yet. We'll have to see here, but the veto is already gone, so I didn't even catch.
What was the third map? Did you even see
I didn't
that?
see the third one.
None of us saw it.
Train.
That's how quick it was.
Maybe
Train would make
Could
sense.
we bring the
Train would
vetoes
make
back
sense.
up? Is that possible?
Mouse
Just so,
vetoed Inferno, so probably Train.
so wait, we know, yeah, so Nuke was still in...
Yeah, and it was Cobblestone and Train, so I guess NIP went for Train because it was the third map.
So we saw, yeah, Nuke, Overpass, then I didn't see the other two bands.
Nuke, Overpass, Train. But yeah, Train, another one good for NIP because they yesterday played against SK, you know, won that map, so they're going to be feeling confident on that one. And this is now the thing for Mousesports, really. Like, Nuke and Mirage are a given for them at the moment. I feel like in any best of 3, especially on Mirage, but probably on Nuke as well, that's their map. But it's after that. Okay, Overpass, don't give them much of a chance there. We'll have to see what they prepared. But maps like Train, Inferno, Cobble, those are the maps where Mousesports is going to have to play them in best of 3s, and sometimes they look really shaky, especially on a map like Cobblestone. Train and Inferno are neck and neck, maybe Train edging out, being the slightly better map. So this is where, when you look at the maps, if you don't see some great underperformance, Mousesports should take this serious.
What an experience this has been for Rops. I'm just looking at both his name and the HLTV ranking, and I'm realizing that it was pretty much last year, the start of last year, this kid was, you know, shoved into a jersey, finally convinced his parents that he could make money playing video games, and now he's in second, if not the best team currently competing.
And I remember back when there were European pros that basically accused him of cheating, right?
That's right, yeah.
It was so crazy, just this young kid coming up.
Like with every up-and-coming player, he actually had to go to Faceit offices and play FPL from there so that people actually believe that he's legit.
Oh, I love it. And there he is on your screens. Indeed, his last name is cool because he is ice cold in that server. Chris J, we've learned a lot more about him this evening. It's not even the evening, Alex. You may have just woken up. But Chris J does, of course, come up on your screens. And isn't it? He's a really interesting character. The fact that he's transitioned from being the flashy, cocky scout player that he once was, because he was. I mean, we had conversations about...
You saw it in the highlights.
Yeah, the filth he was getting up to, just playing the game, having fun and giggles. Suddenly, I guess it's like bad comparison, but when someone has a child and then they kind of become... this, that you automatically seem to become a bit more fatherly, a bit more like now suddenly he has the responsibility of 4 players and his success in Counter-Strike is now on his shoulders and things have changed.
Yeah, definitely matured tremendously as a player and as a person. Really, you know from the early days, you know, he had a bit of a temper, really, you know, could flare at times, and even in game you could see it impact his performance, you know. And now he's turned into this guy. Yes, he's still emotional, but he's learned how to control it for the better part. And when you look at some of the close games that Mousesports has, when the team starts mounting a comeback against them, it's when Chris J actually turns into this mode. I have to take matters into my own hands to an extent, and he's the one making the ballsy plays and basically leading the team by example, which is great to see.
And an example of what Rez was capable of was where we saw them get the first notch in their Intel Grand Slam. He's on your screens now. Rez put on a show-stopping performance over in Oakland, which brought them their big offline title and that trophy lift that they're looking to replicate here in Marseille. These young up-and-comers, I guess it's a recurring theme now, Sean. These new names are coming up and they're playing with the big dogs.
Yeah,
he has a bandana.
They look kind of crazy, yes. But yeah, they struggle to find consistency though, and that's where I think NIP's biggest problem is once they get that consistency level, mainly between, like you said, Rez and Draken, they will flourish to the top of the scene, because right now they show peaks of brilliance.
And for Rez especially, have someone like Dennis on your screen who is the pistol master and obviously has great aim. To say Rez has the best aim I've ever seen is like making quite a statement in that regard. So obviously these guys have skills. I like how we've been talking about NIP and not even mentioning Forest or GetRight.
Yeah.
Obviously the 2 legends of the game, and even during NIP's slump, where GetRight had probably the biggest slump of his career, Forest was the constant, right? He was always delivering, and he's been a bit quiet in this newer team, whether it's because of adjusting or, some of the younger guys, they actually are willing to give them a bit more space now. You do really wonder if they also come back in a sense, not to their glory days, but just to the levels where they have really good rounds every now and then. NIP is really scary on paper.
Yeah, and before we get our own predictions going, you guys can do so in the chat. Just go ahead and let us know who you think is going to take this one, because while we're on the topic of GetRight and Forest, I actually have a bit of a problem with GetRight. Like, I get a little miffed, a little upset, because I've heard him now on more than one occasion in interviews or passing him in a hallway where he says, yeah, my glory days are over, or like, that's not my role anymore, that's someone else's job now, and all this kind of basically all of this dialogue that suggests that he's not trying to be the star anymore. And as a player who you've seen what he's capable of, it just irritates me because I know that's not an attitude that's gonna get you anywhere. I don't know. It doesn't seem connected to success for me.
I think it's more a matter of him being realistic, right? When he was really great, everyone else wasn't nearly as good as they are now, and his role was based off of outsmarting people and, you know, the lurking style and always being in a different place. And people back then weren't as disciplined in their rotations, movements a little bit. You see how now players are jiggle peeking everything, so much more patience in play, right? It's much more difficult to be effective that much in a way he was from that role. And he's realized that he's also reinvented himself to an extent. You see in some of the set strats, GeT_RiGhT is the entry fragger. He's the first guy going in, going through smokes and everything, and he's actually been doing a pretty good job at that.
I'm looking forward to this one, and I need to know predictions. We have got the vetoes. Admittedly, we haven't talked too much about the individual maps, so it's my apologies. We got sidetracked in storyline there, but Sean, do hit me with your expectations.
Well, I messed up on the whole Cloud9 series because I thought that
Feeling
they would take
proud about
Overpass.
that one?
Yeah, I messed up there. I think mousesports has a free win on Nuke right now, and having that be the first map, I can't go against them. I don't know why I did that against Cloud9. I'm taking mousesports.
Getting that first map momentum, we saw just how powerful it was for the North Americans.
Yeah, I think mousesports are one of my favorites to win the whole thing, right? And yes, yesterday was sketchy and just a best of one and still getting into the swing of things. But I think this is going to be a great game for both teams to really keep proving themselves. But I'm going to edge towards mousesports because of what I've seen from them. They have great game plans and they've become better and better at executing them even when things don't go exactly according to plan. So mousesports for me.
And I would join you as well. I think mousesports will take this one. And let's not forget, those are just, of course, our predictions. We did get to see yours. And the main point of this best of three, not only is it a spot in the playoffs, not only that's the luxury in itself, but it's a death sentence almost. If you concede this best of three, there is an SK Gaming who are hungry for their first offline playoffs.
I wouldn't take it too far because SK is vulnerable and mortal at the moment because they're switching things up. I think it's going to be more difficult for NIP to beat them again, this time in a best of three, than for MOUZ. I think MOUZ has enough, and they also had issues against SK previously, then they took them down in Star Series, so I think now the mental block is out as well.
But I definitely would rather get to the playoffs beating NIP or MOUZ than I would against SK. Yeah, definitely, when that is on the line. We'll bring your casters into the conversation just to go ahead and start this one off. Look at you, boy. You looking hyped, Anders?
Yeah.
You bobbing and weaving?
Good. Yeah.
Okay.
You're ready, Moses. You ready? It's gonna get on. It's gonna be a good game. It's gonna be great. And we're playing Nuke as well.
Yeah, we're all playing Nuke. Everyone's excited. Everyone's hyped up. We got to see Sean just prostrate himself in front of the Cloud9 gods and ask for forgiveness. It's not happening. You've ruined all of it.
Yeah, I'm not even sure they're going to let him back in the country. They are building a wall, I heard, so you've got to be...
it's going to be nice and tall, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
no, it's
right.
Careful, Sean. He'll show up in his tight shirt at a Starbucks, and they'll be like, oh, you belong here. Come here. Come on in.
Avocado toast.
I like that. We went full circle. That's really good.
That was lovely. And
I caught that quite nicely, didn't he?
I can't wait to see this, guys. Anders, Jason, enjoy it.
Thank you very much, Alex. We appreciate it. Yes, it's going to be one hell of a game, I think. I mean, mousesports and NIP.
Nuke just makes me happy.
Yes, that too. And it makes a lot of people angry, which I think is
which
misplaced.
is the other half of your happiness, is other people's anger.
It feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, this is so exciting. I think it is an interesting time, isn't it? Because they're right on the desk. They ended up talking about NIP quite a bit, and they mentioned not so much GeT_RiGhT and Forest. So, do you think is it too soon to move past those? I have a really hard time doing that.
I think Alex and Yanko both had like kind of different. When Alex asked that question about GeT_RiGhT's mindset, Alex and Yanko had like two like very different takes on it. They're like the two extremes, right? Alex is just like, I don't like that mindset. Like, it's not like a winning mindset, and Yanko just said it's more realistic. And I think the reality is somewhere in the middle, where I think you know, overall GeT_RiGhT's probably never going to be the full-blown star of his team again, which leans towards Yanko. But at the same time, you need to have some more confidence of a mindset of where you still want to be, you know, kind of like you want to be some kind of a badass still when you want to take individual fights. And I think that's where that mindset hurts GeT_RiGhT more than anything, is when you see him and his decision-making and his fight selection, it's always a bit more passive, a bit more uncertain than you'd like.
Well, I don't think anyone is going to be allowed to be the kind of star that GeT_RiGhT or Forest were when NIP were on the cruise, because the fact is that the fact is that the level between those guys and everybody else in the world at that point was just so big, right?
I remember watching some of those matches in like 2013, and it was just so dirty and unfair. Even when it was against the French guys, even when it's against Very Games, who were like the next best, and it was just like this still just isn't fair.
Any 1 versus 3 where you had Get Right in the one position, you'd think, you could probably still win this, you know, and then most of the time he did. So it was it's kind of hard to deal with. We'll see how this all goes. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, the second match here of day 2 of DreamHack in Marseille. It's going to be mousesports versus NIP. Sunny really quick inside. Forrest getting 1 headshot. And Dennis fighting there in mini, not going to be able to pick it up. Get Right trying to stay alive and ducking to avoid the bullets. In the meantime, they've lost Rez, so now it's just Get Right and Draken left. 2 versus 3. Oh, well.
Get Right. Yeah, he pushes forward, tries to find the gap, and that's an easy cleanup for Oscar. Pretty wild round.
That's a pretty aggressive way to get started.
Yeah, and it felt like most of NIP just gets picked off by the confusion of maybe feeling pressured like it was some kind of an upper hit. It's like two to three players committed there. NIP's probably calling for reinforcements and rotations, and you know, just in the transition towards a new spot, and they get taken out. Look at this buy at mousesports, Anders. 3 MAC-10s, a CZ on Oscar, and an MP7.
Greedy comes to mind, I think. Just absolute greed here. A lot of flashbangs. Is it going to backfire on them? Forrest will at least get 1 kill. There are a lot of people down there. He does pick up the double, and Dennis is there to help out. That leaves Rez and Draken now 2 on 2. And these SMGs, they are not that much of an advantage in this kind of scenario. No bomb plant happening yet, so... Ooh, that's a really important shot there. Oscar taking down Draken.
Now Rez doesn't really have any options. He's going to go for it, going to drop down, wants to find this 1 kill on the planter. That was his chance, I think, and Stico just playing with him now. Going to clean him out eventually, and yeah, almost some danger in the initial exchanges with those MAC-10s and Forrest with his Deagle and a double kill. But, I mean, either way, you can kind of see the logic behind it. They don't really invest a whole lot, so even though they lose 3 players, it's not like they're having too much of a net loss across the board. So AK is coming out this time. Oscar going to stay on the CZ. Actually, no, he's going to get a MAC-10 right at the end.
Just picking it up. I mean, in this round, it's super safe to do it, right?
Right.
You know you're going to get a bunch of kills against the unarmored targets. I'm not sold on the other round. I think it's too much of a risk.
Didn't like it?
No, I mean, now that it worked, it's fine. But, you know, I feel like if you lost that round, you'd be thinking... It would be hard collectively as a team to not think, man, we could have maybe done a little bit more, you know?
Well, certainly Chris J has shown off. I mean, there's been some maps where we watch him, and he's, like, picking up the MP7 by choice on the T side, like being the entry fragger and making it work.
Yeah. Yeah, he's really making a big case for that weapon being used more. It's not even... I mean, they pick up the SMGs. I guess if you do that, you almost... It makes sense to go inside. But think about how much you could get out of walking outside with AKs at range and everything.
Right. Well, I mean, the next round as well, it could be some confusion, right? Coming through smokes, you could even go outside and come through a smoke and mini, and it's just going to be a difficult target to take down. Going to be a couple players without head armor as well, so it'll be interesting to see the decision they make depending on how many players they lose here. But it's looking like it'll be a nice and easy 3-0 for the mousesports side.
Yeah, off to a really good start, playing on the T side. Obviously, that's what you want. It's very hard, I think. It used to be easy on Nuke to just say, oh, this is very CT-sided, and that's just how it is. But I think the current iteration is only really CT-sided if you know what you're doing on the CT side. And if you don't, then you can absolutely get crushed on the CT side. Like, you're not going to have that much of an easy run of it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it comes down... This map, I think, where we see teams struggle is obviously the ones who haven't invested too much time into kind of theory crafting, how they want to rotate and how they want to move around the map on the CT side. Because of the nature of the stacked bomb sites, I think that can get confusing if you don't have a, you know, a preset plan. That's new, the headband. That decision to sport that. Questionable, perhaps.
I don't know. It looks kind of cool, doesn't it?
We listened to Ninja Rap this morning by Vanilla Ice. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, it really wasn't, though. I'm not going to lie, Moses. You're never going to get me on board with the Vanilla Ice. It's never going to happen. Forrest does take down Robs and get it right. I'm on that hut, hoping to get just a single frag as they maybe enter. Oscar's gone down already. The hold is looking very good right now for NIP. And if you're mousesports, you might be thinking about, how can we do some damage in this round? How can we
wish
get
we
a
had
couple
more
of kills?
AK-47s instead of these MAC-10s.
Yeah, that is also true.
I put him in the front line trying to get some opening, and it's not going to happen. Rez gives up his position, but with such a man advantage as well, it's just so easy to fall down with safety. Dennis will be the next challenge as Chris J jumps around the corner. The op shot kind of baits him. They weren't expecting Dennis to be there in a new off angle. Good frags from Sunny, though. Sunny, those two of them, actually, and he's got the op on the ground. That'll be expensive if NIP's not able to salvage it. Now there's space for Stiko to make his move, as this pressure being applied towards lower could take the attention away of the defenders, but no. Gerrit has the timing as he swings out from the silos, and a 1-on-3. As Sunny will have to go for the ace.
Bit of a tall order. 1 versus 3 with about 25 seconds. And he's going to walk right into Gerrit. So it will be NIP picking up the 4th round. Only losing 2 players. That's not too bad at all.
They don't get the op, though. So they weren't able to pick that back up.
Now, I'll say this, I'll call this early, because the desk we're discussing, like, what player to watch, you know, who's a good player to watch out for.
All right.
I think so far in the tournament, for me, one of the most exciting players to watch has actually been Sunny.
He had a great game yesterday, didn't he?
There was something about his style, like, he just looked so tuned into the game. It was really wonderful, so, yeah, I look forward to seeing more of that. Classic wall of smokes coming in outside. Later on in the half, you might see NIP try and put down some Molotovs to stop that from happening. That's become very popular recently. It looks like actually mousesports want to go ahead and take the fight here towards the bottom of heaven.
That wasn't actually all that classic. They actually turned to come right through the smoke, and all those kind of players spamming through. There goes Dennis. Good fight from Stiko, just hiding behind that box, and Gerrit doing his best to even things out. Which he does bring it into a 4-on-4. Ooh, and right through the smoke. Builds upon it. Luck is on his side, but Sunny is still alive. 2-on-3, and this is the position from Oscar that you wonder what he's going to be able to do. They know he's there. He's down at half HP. But it creates an awkward rotation for NIP, an awkward read of what comes next.
Yeah, Forrest is about to jump up onto the silo, so he's going to have such a huge vantage point. They have Draken downstairs as well, so if they just wait and let Forrest do his job up here in the silo, that might be everything they need. Tapping away. Look, oh! Oscar had at least a second there to maybe get the right angle. Very hard to guess, obviously, and that leaves Sunny alone. Another chance for a huge clutch here if he could do it. That would be big. He does have the bomb, but as soon as you try to plant it, Rez is going to be, I guess, the closest player by, maybe Forrest too.
Or at least get the plant. Rez was at the bottom of the ladder. Forrest isn't there to punish it yet, so chance. Right now he's in the open. This would be awkward, and there's the peak. Now he's just got nowhere to go. Good spin. 1-on-2 now, and Draken pressuring. He's using the silo perfectly, but it's too much to ask. He's doing his best to find the 1-on-1s and doing it well. But patience from the NIP players and a smile on Dennis's face, and acting like he's got a playbook there.
He's just actually role-playing in the middle of the tournament.
I love to see that.
It's good though. I feel like NIP could use that. It's not Forrest and Gerrit are both. I mean, outside of the game, they're great fun, but I feel like they can be a little bit quiet. They're a little bit Swedish, I think is the word I'm looking for.
Forrest is definitely very Swedish.
Yeah.
Gerrit, he's pretty animated. I don't know how much it like transitions into like pump talk, like pumping up your teammates, but like you see him get hyped after some big rounds.
I still feel like they could be good, especially with the young guys on there. Have
Dennis,
let
it loose a little bit.
Have a little bit of fun, you know. That goes a long way. 3-2, and NIP admittedly losing quite a few members in the last round.
Yeah, they did, but you know, still have some money built up on a couple players. Forrest and Dennis down at 0, but Gerrit and Rez are okay. So they're on the verge of having a much easier time. If they can get a clean win here, it'll be just pistols for the mousesports side of things, which would be so nice for this defense to be able to establish a monetary foundation to build upon and get right over the smoke. Oh my god, he just misses. Chris J found the exact right moment to get into the smoke, but oh, there it is, the headshot. Can he build upon it? Can he get any more? Now they've got the smokes in place, but Rez with a double kill might just start sealing it. Forrest slides out, and there could be a bomb plant, but it's going to have to be in this upper bomb site. Sunny, good headshot. 2-on-2 now.
He's doing it again. Sunny, he's just so much on point. But day 2 seems to be almost no different. Gonna make his way down, and they've already been looking into that bomb site for a bit. Chris has been keeping an eye on it. Gonna go back and hold on to the vents as Sunny puts the bomb down. Now, Dennis and Draken would be very tough if they gave up this round. This is NIP just starting to build a foundation. They're nowhere near close enough to start to let go of rounds. mousesports keeping up the pressure, and that's a nice kill. Chris getting Dennis killed, and now it's Draken. One grenade goes in there, looking for the guy on the bomb site. Sunny's going to be dropped. That's a really nice kill. And if he goes for the full defuse, he almost could have made it by now, but Chris is now at the double doors. Draken going to tap the bomb one more time, and Chris waiting patiently. He's not buying it at all, and he's going to get the kill. Triple for him, surviving on 8 health. That's bold, just waiting.
And that wild spray almost came through, but yeah, with that low of health, you kind of have to take that risk to just, you know, test his nerve and just say, if you're going to stick it, fine, win, but, you know, this is pretty much the only chance I have. That's tough. NIP very close, but Chris with that opening kill and the upper bomb site kind of throws that defense into hell. They didn't really know where to rotate to. So a timeout comes, and they have to talk about what they want going forward, because they do... I mean, on Nuke, it's one of those things where I feel like you can kind of buy because of the close quarters. You can sometimes manage those shotguns, those pistols in the close range and everything. They're only going to have one rifle. And they are investing into this. So it's it'll be interesting to see how they try and play this one out, NIP. This is a big risk to the economy early on, though. This could spiral them out of control.
Yeah. And, I mean, I prefer to see NIP play like this, though. It is a risk.
Yeah, big risk, big reward type thing?
Yeah, I feel like they need to reinvent themselves a little bit and just try and go for it, see what happens. Trust in the fact that players like Rez and Draken are going to be hungry to prove what they could do with the aim. It's a good job on Mousesports. The fact that they, even the round that they lost, they managed to do so much damage that when they finally did pick up a round here, they almost immediately close out NIP on the economy front. So that's all good play, good T-side nuke.
You have Dennis with a pistol, a 5.7 to be exact, spots one out, and he knows they're behind him as well. He wants to take that, tries to line it up, and he goes down. The only one there, no one had rotated over to cover his back. It would have been difficult anyways if anyone were there. Anyone except for maybe Rez, who hasn't been able to get involved in the action just yet. Just get right in the hut. The rest of Mousesports taking control of lower, and this is the last chance. This is what everything that Rez wants, but jumping around the corner. Stika with the Galil is able to get that headshot, and now Get Right has to push forward, and Rops is waiting to punish this. I think Rops is, you know, outside of that round that we just witnessed, he's a very good player at holding, you know, solo holding that kind of lobby area on the T side of Nuke. He does a very good job of kind of picking his battles very well when his teammates cause some kind of rotation. So he'll be someone we can keep our eye on here.
Yeah, this Mousesports team has really managed to accumulate such an enormous amount of skill on their team that it is kind of disturbing.
It happened very quick, didn't it?
Yeah.
Like, before you even realized what was happening, you're just like, holy hell.
Well, they sort of they almost flew under the radar a little bit. I mean, they talked about it in that intro segment, but, you know, the fact that Nico disappeared, it's like the shadow of Nico was so big that even as they picked up, you know, players like Robs and Oscar and so, you sort of thought, yeah, but
it's just not enough, is it?
It's just not enough. Like, they still lost Nico, you know? Yeah. And then it's like, oh, but it is, you know, and they're actually playing really well. 2-5. Honestly, I think if Sunny keeps playing like this, he's going to end up the tournament MVP. Like,
fair, because you always know I'm going to back out these days.
Yeah, you just back out all the time. Listen, the audience are listening mostly. They know.
Yeah.
They hear. Just folding immediately. Should play a game of poker one day, you and I. Just win every hand.
Already calling Sunny as the MVP. That's intense. We'll see. We'll see. This is where it gets dicey for NIP now. Is they have to start. I mean, this is their economy is kind of in shambles due to that buy in the previous round. It's not going to be a great buy in the next one because the losing bonus is only going to be at 3 rounds. Not going to be fully built up. So they'll have a solid enough buy, but not everything they can want. And you really don't have a whole lot more chances to get to winning. Like, you have to just start doing it at a certain point. And you haven't had a whole lot of solid buys that you can use to find that first win.
No, definitely not. I mean, they had 2 in a row, and, well, this is looking much better. Forrest started them off with 1 deal headshot, but...
I think they had the AWP 1 round, and even in a winning round, they lost it. It got taken out by Sunny, and they were never able to salvage it, so they haven't really even had that weapon back in the hands quite yet, and Get Right actually here with a chance. He even has a kit.
Yeah, he did go down to the lower bomb side thinking, or at least the lower hallways to try and figure out what's going on, and now he's got a long trek back.
This is where you want to see that flip of mindset, right? what Alex was talking about. This is where you want to say, we want the old Get Right back for this one moment of time.
See if he's going to be able to dig himself out of this one somehow. Find a way to recover for it. Very hard if they don't show themselves, which they're currently not. I mean, he has no idea where they are. Gonna have to make a bit of noise to try and find them, and Stiko will get him killed instead. Another round for Mousesports, making it 6-2. And again, the economy is really what's bothering NIP right now. They are very, very deep in the hole.
And they're too far down to go for another save, just so they can have, you know, the nades, they can have, you know, the AWP. So this isn't bad, all things considered. 5 M4s on the board, decent enough utility. Only one kit is going to kind of hurt. See how they choose to play at fast pace from Mousesports. Nade opens up the window. Sunny's going to lead the way. First man out. The potential MVP gets taken down by Forrest and Get Right. An all-star hold of the upper bomb site.
He saw that player in the corner, and then he was blind, and he just could... Like, they just all stacked on top of each other. Everyone completely flashed. Really, really, really good defense. And Stiko and Oscar... Again, this is where your mindset had to change a bit if you're on the T side. Now you have to think, well, winning the round probably not going to happen, but getting kills is so important. Can't let NIP walk away here with an almost clean round. Fully clean round now.
Yeah, they did. All 5 players survived. Now it's going to feel much, much better for NIP. And get some of those Molotovs as well next to the smokes. They can buy up a couple more kits. And a pause for Mousesports as they want to talk things over. They have about 1 more buy left. And I mean, they're going to have to drop some weapons if they want to do it. Stiko can buy it himself. Chris J has 8,000, but everyone else is hurting. So they're going to have to do some kind of musical economy to figure things out.
Who gets the good weapons? Who gets to play around with Deagles, or worse?
Well, Oscar's going to have the AWP.
Makes sense.
Which makes sense, yeah. Can't argue with that one too much, can you?
It's very hard to try and make a different argument at this point.
But still, AK-47 on Stiko, Galil on Chris J, Op on Oscar. The other 2 have pistols. This is NIP's chance, despite a very slow start, but despite a very ugly start. If they can close this round out, keep some players alive, get the economy growing, then they're set up pretty nicely to end this half.
Very fast wall of smokes going down. Let's see if they're going to respect it or walk around the other side. They actually flashed their way into the garage, but Draken is there. He's had a bit of a rough game, and he takes down Sunny, no problem. Sunny not really aware where he was getting shot from that silencer, and see if they can do a little bit more. Draken, I think, realizing that there's somebody up on top of that mini position, and he's going to just wait it out behind the smoke. Makes sense.
Mousesports being patient as well. Oscar's just waiting for that peek up the stairs. It never came. Minute and 8 seconds left, and they're going to leave him outside. He's going to have this perch, so give him time, give him space. They have to apply pressure elsewhere. They choose ramp room, so it's Rez they'll go against, and if Rez goes down, that might be where you start to see that warehouse player move out, and he does get traded. That can even things out pretty quickly, even though NIP has the man advantage there. It might not last, but Draken does win that fight with Oscar. Perhaps caught the timing, and now Forrest, he can just play this all day long. Tapping away, he's going to love it. So hard to clear him out of the position, and Stiko is just stopped stone cold. Forrest waits for his longtime teammate and takes the fight. There it is, NIP back in the action, back in the game.
As an old man yourself, Moses, doesn't it put a bit of a smile on your face to see Forrest at the top of the scoreboard with 12-6?
Yes, it does. I do like it. I played against Forrest at his first CPL.
Yeah, how did that go?
We lost. It was a close loss.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it was close.
I like that. Should go back and find the VODs if you
He's
can.
had a much better career since then than I have.
Really? Long range spray. And Chris going down. Dennis having a bit of a field day outside. Forrest will be dropped, and it's just a question of closing out the round again without losing too many players. Oh, Get Right there to help out. And Dennis will survive the round with a quad kill. Listen, Moses, Forrest might have had a better career in terms of playing, but you know, you get to hang out with the rest of us in the green room, and that's a big win too, you know. God,
I would swap lives so quickly when you put it like that.
It's
tap me out, coach.
It's 2018, Moses. Maybe we can get that kind of technology soon.
Yeah.
Do a transfer.
That'd be great. All right, here we go. AK's on the board. 5 of them for the Mousesports side. Molotovs now in the hands of NIP, and you can see what that does. It slows down these early rounds. Flames in the choke points. That's the next obstacle for Mousesports. Now that they've allowed NIP to build up money and build that economy, how do you get around the early utility usage? So it really restricts the kind of things you can call from T-Spawn.
Yes, it does. Let's see what the timing is like here for Draken. He definitely spots one out. Very dangerous, though. He can get spotted from another angle, and he's going to try and take a look at Oscar. Will fall back for the minute, and the longer he stays here, I feel like the more dangerous it's going to be. Rob's low on health already. And Sunny actually taking a bit of a fire damage from the Molotov there. Don't want to be doing that. Oh, but they get the opening anyway. Stiko going to be taking Forrest down. That grenade almost could have taken down Robs, and now Sunny's just waiting. The timing is so perfect. Taking down Get Right just as he had the grenade out, and now Dennis is in a lot of trouble behind. He's going to get the spray on one, but the flank comes in. Sunny with a second kill, and now it's Rez and Draken 2 on 4. And at this point, if you're an IP, you might just need the money here. I mean, there's almost no chance you can retake this site.
Yeah, there really isn't. So falling back, you like this call. Oscar's still outside trying to hunt some of the last frags down, trying to take some guns away right at the end. Draken's already made it to CT spawn with the op, though. And that's very unfortunate for Get Right. That is going to be tough to keep your nerve. Rez might get hunted down here. Ooh, the timing of this could be painful. Rez not even considering it, but it is the op, and the off angle from Draken should be an easy kill if Oscar commits to this, and it is. Ooh, that's a nice double kill, though.
Definitely not bad at all. So making it expensive.
That's actually a big blunder for Mousesports down, you know, at the end of that round. They hadn't. That was 3 losses in a row. That was the first round they'd won in a while. They didn't have economy, so losing all those weapons right at the end, that's actually painful. They have 3 players, you know, sitting on $3,600. You could see the difference in this buy because of those kills is shocking.
He's got the sawn off.
Yeah, but that's the thing. He could have had an AK.
Yeah, but let's pray that he goes down the vent.
Chris has a Tech 9 because he forgot to switch it over.
Bring it down the vent, Oscar. I know you want to. Certainly thinking about it as Sunny opens up. He's going to get the kill on Draken outside. Another big opening here for the Finnish player. And Oscar hiding inside of the smoke. Forrest is down there, but that's a nice pick from Dennis. Challenging the smoke outside. Very risky indeed. Oscar is not going to get a chance to use it. In fact, just falls down. Forrest not really happy with that pickoff. Not what he was looking for.
Yeah, why would you be? Still dangerous, though, for NIP. Raz is rotating down there, but there's an op he's got to go against. Chris J has it. He was trying to get in the doorway, so now he's spotted that out. That's a lot of distance that he's got to cover. Needs to wait for the reinforcements. But with the op and with the player in vents, there's actually a pretty decent setup for the post plant for Mousesports. This will not be easy for NIP.
Yeah, but look at the grenades. They've got 3 Molotovs. If they just isolate one of those players in the vents, he's just going to be gone forever, isn't he? Chris with a big kill, taking down Get Right, and Sunny will get one more kill, taking down Dennis. Still hiding in the vents. Forrest wants to hunt him down, and Sunny going to win the fight with a headshot. Rez is now alone in a 1 versus 3. Another great round from Sunny. Make it a triple. Rez now obviously backing off immediately. That is another round for Mousesports on the board. 8-5. And that is such a good first half score already for the Mousesports team.
Those positions were so strong for Mousesports. I don't know how they had such success in getting in those for the post plant. Great frag from Sunny. Even though it wasn't clean, he's distracting. He's taking 1 life and making Forrest hunt him down into an awkward fight that he had to take quickly. 1 more purchase coming out for NIP. They clawed themselves back into this game and found themselves in the pit once again as Mousesports have brought 2 together, winning kind of an outrageous buy. Draken now, his turn, he wants to take over. Molotov going to force him away from that. He could have held his nerve, but now he's trapped. Now he's got to fight for it, and he wins the first, but not the second.
Very tough when you get isolated like that. He could have maybe even sat inside the Molotov to get that first kill, but he sort of changed his mind just to the...
He'd already made the decision, right?
Yeah.
It's too late. Ooh, right through the smoke. Nice find from Forrest. Rob, so I gave him praise for his play in lobby. He's been pretty quiet with it throughout this half. He's down at 3-11. Rough game for a young star. Chris J, off angle from Get Right, but that's a good headshot.
Chris going to be winning that fight. Forrest now, a bit of an off angle for him as well. Molotov, not going to do anything. Goes down the vent instead, and they've got Forrest trapped, but can they do anything about it? Oscar is ready and waiting. Casey tries to go for the peek, and in the meantime, Sunny's maneuvering on the outside instead. We'll see if this is going to work out. They have him isolated. There's another Molotov there. And Forrest now has to move, and he's going to get the kill regardless. That's brilliant play here from the old-timer. And now, Sunny, 1 versus 3, 25 seconds. MVP or not, Moses, I don't think he's going to fight his way out of this one. I'm not going to lie.
Position from Dennis, he's just far too strong as the initial kill. What a round from Forrest, standing in the fire as well, still trying to bait out the shot, and then committing. Good find through the smoke. Rop's getting a bit unlucky.
16-9 for Forrest at the moment.
He's been great, hasn't he? I mean, I think it was Yanko on the desk, you know, he's exactly right. Through whatever slump that NIP's gone through over the past, you know, year, 2 years, whatever it's been, Forrest has probably been one of the most consistent in terms of keeping up his individual level, which is always great to see. Chris J wanted the angle and almost had the timing with that ult. Gonna pass it over and look at Sunny. He's gotten down quick. And who's there to stop this? I don't think anyone's down low. Draken is, excuse me, with the ult, and he finds it.
That's a very unlikely position to find an open this early in the round. So Sunny's probably going to be really annoyed at that. He kept running for a while, and I wonder if Dennis heard him in the garage, because I think if he'd slowed down, maybe it would have been less obvious. Yeah. But I wonder if there was a bit of a sort of audio leak going on there.
Not a lot of mobility to this defense at the moment. Everyone, I mean, 3 players up top. Draken still down low with the ult, but it's just Rez in the ramp room. No one's really kind of come over to assist him, which makes them look like geniuses at this point, since Mousesports have fallen back from ramp and they want to start attacking this upper bomb site. It's going to be the op from Oscar peering in through Squeaky Door. The other 3 are going to walk outside, but this is taking a lot of time to come to fruition. So Mousesports, when they decide to go, it's got to be quick, and they've lost a big presence in towards lobby.
Nice shot once again, Forrest. On point with the M4, and now they're simply running out of time. Dennis here in mini, getting an instant headshot. Maybe going to get a double. He's going to go down, but I'm not sure this changes all that much. Forrest has relocated himself. They knew that he was on the other side, and, well, they get the kill on him anyway. Draken going to be there to pick it up, and with 18 seconds, there's just no way through here. Stiko will pick up a kill, but he's going to get shot down by Get Right. 8-7 in the end. I mean, NIP doing their best to fight their way back. This could have been much worse.
Yeah, they had to claw themselves back into it. Either way, we've got halftime insight with Stunna. Send it over to him.
Halftime insight, absolutely right, Jason. Down here, you can tell the demeanor of this Mousesports team is cool, calm, and collected. Just like we learned there in the pre-segment of this matchup. Chris J is leading these guys to victory so far. Really good, strong showing here on their T side. And of course, I want to invite you to get involved at home by using hashtag DHMasters. And with that, I'm going to kick it back over to Momo and Anan.
Why has that become a thing?
I don't know, Moses. I didn't invite this at all. I'm frankly shocked.
Yeah.
And appalled, I think.
Appalled is a good reaction to it.
I think it almost feels like bullying. If only there were
some organization out there.
We could call Moses. Then maybe we could get some help on that. 7-8 is the scoreline as we're heading into the second half here. It's still the first map in a best of 3, but a lot is on the line. A spot in the playoffs or a rematch potentially against SK, I believe.
A best of 3 fight with SK, which no one really wants to do. Even though they have looked diminished, right? You just don't want to mess with it. You never know when the beast is going to wake up.
Someone who's certainly woken up in this game is Forrest, finishing the first half at 17 kills. Quite a bit ahead of everybody else. Let's see what they can do here. The pistol round, NIP going for the ramp rush. Already been found out. Robs, completely caught up. Thought he had time to get into a better position, but gets run down. Oscar drops next to Get Right. And Sunny was hoping that someone was going to come run and look for him, but nobody does. So NIP with a very strong chance to win this round. Have to be almost a bit of a mistake if they end up giving it away.
It's Get Right in the vents that feels like it's going to seal this. Not even worried about anyone coming from ramp room. They are going to come eventually, so he's exposed unless he moves, which he hasn't yet. He might get taken down for free. Still hasn't budged. Now he pushes forward just a bit. Good frag from Sunny, but the trades are close with a Glock. Turning the corner, and it should be all over. Chris J, 10 HP. Everyone's getting wiped off. NIP equalize the scoreline 8-8 as they take the second pistol round. And they have a chance to take the lead here as well.
It's a very good job indeed, and obviously for Robs, it's just sort of gut-wrenching, because if he gets back into the back of the ramp, and maybe he could play for time. He had 2 people by heaven, so he could have called some teammates in and tried to stay alive, but he just got completely caught.
It's one of those games where it feels like, we always talk about those games where it feels like you can do no wrong. Well, Rops is probably feeling like it's one of those games where he could do no right, where kind of every single decision seems to go against him, which is tough. He's 4-13 now. Very, very quiet game, but they still have a chance. He can still, so if he wakes up at some point during this game, it'll get more difficult for NIP. Scout long range. Rops coming up, and now he's going to fall away as Chris has given up the angle. He cannot take those fights. NIP pursuing Chris towards under ladder, forcing him all the way back. And yeah, that's actually way far outside on the other side of outside, and now Rops has a chance to get involved in the action. He's up close. There's 2 kills for mousesports. They've rotated perfectly. And they're going to steal this round away. It's Forrest in a 1v4. Good headshot to open things up. A minute to play with, and he has the bomb. So maybe just one more kill to like thin out the herd, and then you can kind of relocate across the map and try and get clever.
It's very tricky. Chris is right down there with him. Sunny's still hiding in the back. He's already got the double kill. Looking for more. There's the triple. Sunny picking it up with a deal. Not looking too excited himself at the moment, but he should be. 17-13 for him as the scoreline. Definitely a very good job, and that's a bit of a bad round for NIP to lose.
That one hurts. I mean, good kills from Sunny. Obviously that opening kill on a Draken, but just taking enough bodies away that Rops can find one, and then there's just no progression into that bomb site. That was a very, very nice rotation down low, and obviously a good opening kill. Good job by Rops and Chris J staying alive at the initial action, just giving up ramp room instead of fighting. Chris J goes elsewhere to find a frag. The Deagles are out for NIP now, but Dennis gets double peeked, and the shotgun really throwing things off, even at range.
See what the Swedish team could do here at the 18th round. Again, any kind of damage. That's a nice shot. Long range. Going to be able to make that one work. It would be good news if Robs could get some easier kills here at ramp. Oscar's ready with the auto shotgun. Could get a double kill for it as well. That will be 10-8. And NIP still cannot buy here, even after winning the pistol.
Yeah, that one hurts. Fully invested into the previous round, and that is that's a very harsh stop to any kind of momentum they were going to try and build up. Another one of those scenarios where mousesports is going to have the kind of lead where you just don't have a whole lot of mistakes to make if you're on the T side, if you're NIP, once you get the guns back in your hands. But they've got to do it quickly, and at least this round there's some target practice for Sunny, and he's actually losing that battle, but Oscar's going to be happy with it because so much bonus money is being made. One more kill to find, and the shotgun gets dinked, but 3 kills in this round, 2 in the previous. He's got 5 kills with the shotgun. That's a whole lot of money.
That is really good. He's gonna be ecstatic about that one. 8-11, and NIP able to pick up the AK-47s finally. So let's see what they can do. Dennis is still looking like he's in a good enough mood.
Oscar's got 9,600.
That's just too much.
Rich.
Oh man, it's only a 3-round lead. So if NIP could do. So I don't know what happened to them if they could shut down the economy early on. That's all they need. Oscar's already gone. Get right, able to get that kill.
That's so big that he finds that kill this early because that already forces rotations. Chris J is going away from Sunny. And Sunny really has nowhere to go. He's kind of stuck in this spot. So if he messes this up, it's all over. Dennis going to turn the corner. How many more can Sunny get? None. As Drake, and he does take some damage. But now Stiko's got to be careful, and they can't go down vents. They don't have control. They're going to have to rotate elsewhere. Chris with a one-tap right onto Forrest. Holding the line.
If you blinked, you didn't even see that happen.
I did blink.
I
was going off your reaction.
That was so fast. Get right. You're going to be going down. Rez drops to Robs. Again, he's finally getting a little bit on his side, and it's going to be Chris to close out the round. Brilliant stuff for him. And even if Sunny failed that holdover at ramp, the rest of the team stepped it up. Now they're at 12-8.
It's going to be tough. NIP had really good opening. Chris with the first kill, or Get Right with the first kill, excuse me, and that's nasty.
It's just one bullet.
It's nasty. Yeah, no, but the opening kill from Get Right, and then you get the trade over towards the top of the stairs, and I feel like you can slow it down at that point, right? And you see if there's going to be any mistakes from the mousesports side, but they press the envelope, and they kind of run right into the rotations. It's easier said from this perspective, obviously, but pistols are out now. You have 2 players in lobby, GeT_RiGhT and Draken. Actually, excuse me, I think Draken is actually up top. Chris is going to get a chance to tap away again at this range. Expect to maybe see some of those headshots, and the shotgun keeping NIP at bay.
Molotov to put a little bit of pressure on. They're all stacked up behind there, so got to be careful about the grenades. They have a couple of deagles that they would like to at least get a chance to put into play. Now Sunny making his way up out of Secret is... If you find the right timing coming out of Secret like this, it's just so annoying for the T side. Gonna get one, that's all he gets. Then is shutting it down.
Shotgun still doing some work at medium range. He's going to follow it up. We're all laughing, aren't we?
Stop laughing.
Everyone's having a good time.
He's already rich, Moses.
He hasn't even had the AWP yet.
He's got $11,650, and it's just so much money.
Well, this feels like the last chance for NIP, this buy right here. Best buy they've had in some time, 4 AKs, the AWP on Drake, and they have to get started right now. mousesports almost just straight running away with this one. You can see the defensive side is just feeling so strong.
It just must be demoralizing as well, running into the auto shotgun, you know, in an official game.
Yeah, it is a bit of like the psychological warfare type thing, isn't it?
I'd be mad. Interesting position for Stiko. Just slightly down there. I'd be worried about someone spotting my feet, but see if it works out or not, if anyone shows up.
Just peering over the top of that smoke. I'm sure he's play-tested that kind of a thing with his teammates. You'd hope so, at least. Sunny perched up behind that box, and a little bit of a warning shot fired across Draken. 54 HP for him. And Oscar still just being a jerk. Close range, waiting for someone to turn around this corner. It's only GeT_RiGhT in here.
It's the sort of range you want to use it for. Chris hoping for a headshot there, but not really connecting. Going to be quick up the ladder, trying to help out in Mini instead, and this position might be perfect. There's Oscar again. That auto shotgun being put to use one more time. Molotov could do a lot. Stiko going to get one good headshot when he goes down. GeT_RiGhT with a big double kill, and he's turning it around for the triple. Closing out the round. That's such an important triple. And that will give NIP finally a second round here in the second half.
Yeah.
They won the pistol, and they had a 5-round pause as Oscar just went to town with the shotgun.
Yeah, 7 kills, I think, for that shotgun, or maybe 8 across those 5 rounds. It was just madness. But yeah, that's huge. That's a big-time triple kill for GeT_RiGhT, having impact when they need it most. That gives them a lifeline. They can reinvest in some of the AK-47s. The tough part is, again, mousesports had 4 players sitting like right around 10,000 or more. So it's just, you have a lot of rounds that you have to burn through for NIP before you get any kind of a reprieve, especially considering at this point, Oscar's just rebuying the shotgun. He's now going to be not only, you know, one of the better fraggers, but he's going to be like the purse of the team.
Yeah, I think he dropped the M4 for Sunny, and then he just bought a shotgun for himself. So he's spent like...
And he's still got 5,000 left over.
Yeah, he's got no issues at all. Kind of incredible. Well, I mean, before we can talk about a comeback here, we need NIP to force Mouse onto an eco. That's a nice leg shot. Oscar maybe should have even been dead then, but that's not too bad.
NIP's got to do something to capitalize on that damage, though. They've had that kill previously when GeT_RiGhT got it, and they weren't able to kind of to get the win off of it, to convert that. Looks like Oscar's actually gone down below into the lower bomb site. Low HP, just going to start toying around with these corridors. Chris J far back outside. Sunny's doubled up with Oscar, knowing he's at low HP. So actually, the upper bomb site is pretty weak, all things considered. NIP can't know that quite yet. Not applying a whole lot of pressure, just in position across the map, waiting for any kind of indication. But 3 players in lobby almost makes it feel like it's either going to be some kind of a play towards ramp room, towards this upper bomb site.
Trying to collect as much information as they can. So this kind of play for GeT_RiGhT is really important. Just spotting everywhere that you can. 40 seconds. Sunny going to come back out of the vent. Might be perfect timing. Closes the door, though there is a hole in it, so might want to be a little bit careful here. 35 seconds, NIP. If they lose this round, I'm not sure if mousesports aren't just going to bounce right out of this map with a win. GeT_RiGhT going down to Chris J. And now it's 4 on 5. clock down to 25 seconds. They've got to make a move.
Yeah, I'm amazed they haven't done it yet. They've kind of given up the game. They're waiting for this flank from Dennis to come to fruition. Actually, he's going to try and open up the avenue, but Robs can stop it all. Quiet game, but this might be all he needs, a double kill. 10 seconds left on the clock. I don't even know if they have time to get down here. Just the smallest of distractions can take Rez off the plant, even if he gets it down. No chance of winning anyways. NIP, indecision, has wrecked them in this round.
Yeah, that's painful to watch. It looked like they could have gone for it on that A site.
Yep.
Changed their minds.
But I mean, you could see they had like an opportunity to make that hit happen. And I don't know if they like sensed it, but Mousesports kind of found it was coming, and you could see everyone was rotating over. They got the second player in. I think it was Sunny and Sticko became 2 players. Oscar was ready to come up to Vance with that shotgun. Chris J was top heaven. He gets get right with the AWP. So the fact that NIP took so long allowed Mousesports to get into such a good position that they had to turn away.
And then because they didn't have time, they couldn't really check all the corners and ramps. They just ran through. There's the auto shotgun again. My God, somebody put an end to this madness. It's just too much for me, Moses.
This is great. See how much more he can get with the shotgun, and he's not even afraid to peek at it in ranged battles as well. Getting fancy now, showing off, switching to the Deagle. NIP with 2 players down, don't really have a whole lot of options available to him. Just getting in duels across the map and not winning any of them. Still no one going down, or no one even really taking critical damage for Mousesports. It'll be 15-9. The shotgun's gonna find one more. Nope, Sunny steals it away. They've had no problems with economy in this half.
No, they really have not. And that's obviously, that's at least one of the changes from what NIP were playing on the CT side. 15-9. And it's map point for Mousesports. Looking very good at the moment. 22 kills on Sunny, 20 on Forest, 19 on Chris, 20 on Oscar. So, yeah, Mousesports are in a really, really great position at the moment. See what they could do. NIP, sadly, tragically, to fight this round with, they have almost nothing. They're going to try and make up for that with a bit of speed, as Sunny does take 2 kills really quickly. The auto shotgun's finally done, but I'm not sure it's going to make a big difference here. Dennis now in a 1 versus 4, and he's being hunted. They're coming in from every angle. Sunny got to close it out. That only seems fitting, ending up at 25 kills. Very, very good first map for him, and Mousesports take it away.
Yeah, and it just looked like NIP didn't have a very deep playbook for that T side of Nuke. Mousesports obviously got very good control, and all those shotguns and everything, that kills that came out, just too much money. So a good start, and remember, this is exactly how the kind of analysts painted it, that Nuke was definitely going to be a Mousesports map, that this was going to go towards them. So yeah, all according to plan.
It is, apparently. I mean, they did have that really rough start on the CT side, right? Once your economy dips that low and you can't get it back up again, you can get stuck a little bit. But,
and it's unfortunate as well that NIP wins that pistol round and then loses second in the second half. So that might have been something that could have changed the game if they were able to build some kind of momentum.
Yeah, a couple of things that we could sort of point to.
A lot of ifs,
explain it.
as there always
a lot
are.
of ifs, yeah. Well, ultimately, we are going to go into map number 2. It's coming up right after the break, so stay with us. We'll be right back.
The Digital Pass, your exclusive way to explore the